It is a privilege to be joined today on the summit by Cyrus Wittig, who is the voice of the Keiser Seahawks. And Cyrus, it's nice to see you again. I've had you on the channel here before. That's a state or two ago and a year or two ago, but let's talk some NAIA football right now. And Keiser football is definitely something that warrants attention. This is a team that's now on a 22-game winning streak and has made it to the NAIA semifinal. A big victory last week. Let's talk about that. A win over Georgetown, two teams that are tough defensively going at one another, but Keiser did come out and get a good second quarter and took the win after that. Tell us a little bit about it from your perspective.
Yeah, it was sort of your typical Keiser game. The offense got started and with their tried and true run game, Andrew Burnett, who I think we're going to talk about a little bit later. And then, when Keiser got into third and longs and third and mediums, put it in the hands of Shea Spencer, their fifth-year quarterback, who has seen just about everything you can at the college level. So some really clutch plays from Shea early. Keiser, like I said, established that run game. And then defensively, I think they just really forced Georgetown to stretch the ball down the field into some low percentage passes. And I think Gary Slunaker, the quarterback, finished 6 for 20. Obviously, like I said, low percentage passes. And Keiser's defense makes it tough on everybody, and it was no exception for Georgetown. And credit to the Tigers, never stopped fighting, and it was a great game. But Keiser, as you said, 20 plus times in a row, able to come out on top.
And looking to extend that streak, a semifinal game awaiting this coming weekend. Cyrus, Coach Miles Russ has just stepped in and done what I think a lot of folks really expected him to do. And I thought about it from the outset of the year. We were talking about it with some other folks here on the channel that, first-year coaches, can they have success? Someone mentioned, well, Coach Russ, but I would think success at Keiser may have a different definition than maybe a couple of the other schools for coaches coming in their first year. He's one of two, by the way, that step in as the head coach and went undefeated in the regular season in their first year. That, of course, along with Brad Sherrod over Texas Wesleyan. Coach Russ really hasn't missed a beat since he stepped in for Coach Doug Sosha.
Yeah, and talk about big shoes to fill. Coach Sosha, incredible coach at the high school level before starting the football program at Keiser. And we know the success he had and has now moved on to Lenore Ryan. But, I wasn't surprised at all at the success that Coach Russ has had in his first year. Coach Russ has been on this staff since, again, the inaugural season back in 2018. There's no coach who knows Keiser football better, knows what it's all about, knows sort of the recipe, the ingredients for winning. And, what they say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And Coach Russ has as I expected, taken over Coach Sosha's program and, of course, put his own spin on it. But you see a lot of similarities from last year to this one. Again, the Keiser's a team that historically has always used the run to set up their pass, has always had a defense that flies around. And, Coach Russ is a guy who everyone's got great respect for him, in the team, the university in the South Florida area. And like I said, I did not expect Coach Russ to miss a beat. And certainly he hasn't gotten the Seahawks to another undefeated season.
You talk about a defense that flies all over the place. I felt like that the defense has always been good. Last year during the playoff run to the national championship made its presence known even that much more. And I've mentioned that a couple times here on the channel, but you've had a chance to see it up close and personal. Tell us a little bit about that Seahawks defense. I mean, Evan Jackson doing a fantastic job. Hunter Hargrave doing well, leading the team in last week's victory. Also, talk a little bit about that defense.
Yeah, going into the year, I think that the defense for Keiser was really the biggest question mark. Just quickly, when you look at the offense, we knew Shea Spencer was coming back. We knew Jaden Meisinger, Andrew Burnett, who those guys, those two guys have rushed for 6,000 yards in their career now. But Keiser only returned one defensive lineman on the two deep. They had some departures. Wendell Fullord, who was probably the most complete defensive player in Keiser history. He transferred to Florida Atlantic, so that tells you how talented he is. He went to play Division I ball, and of course, with a coaching change, a few guys followed Coach Sosha to Lenore Ryan. But it's really just been a group effort. It's been defense by committee. There's a obviously you talk about Hunter Hargrave, Justin Carcel in the defensive backfield, Bam Brima, Byron May. But I don't think it's not one guy this year that is sort of the superstar of the defense. You got Tyler Logo again. So Evan Jackson, who you mentioned, a true freshman coming in and has led the team in tackles, I think 4 games now. So with Keiser's defense, it's more the same in how they like to play. The corners get up in your face, press coverage. Keiser doesn't bring a lot of blitz. They're content to try to get home with 4 guys and maybe bring one here and there. But Keiser's the sort of defense that they just line up and say, beat us if you can, and not many teams do.
Not any one of the last 22 times that they've suited up and said that. That's for
true.
Sure.
That's true.
We're visiting now with Cyrus Wittig, who is on the call for the Keiser Seahawks and will be on the call for Saturday's game as well. I want to talk about that in a moment, but let's look at the offense too. A couple of names that you've mentioned already. Let's start with Shea Spencer, who was not, a part really of that team as much last year, was there 2 years before, and coming back, and so much that he brings to the table and really just directs this offense so well. Tell us a little bit about his play as you've seen it.
Yeah, I've had a chance to watch Shea now for the last couple of years, and he missed last season with an injury, and I know that was tough with him. Went out with an injury late in 2022, missed all of 2023. But talk about a guy who in his last season of college ball has seized the opportunity. He just recently became Keiser's all-time leader in passing yards and pass completions. He's putting together the best single season ever for a Keiser quarterback, and he's a guy who just again, back to the cliches, but he always puts the ball where it needs to be. He's always making the right calls, whether it's check into a run, check into a pass, hits his receivers in stride, puts it in a place where only they can catch it. I think he's 25 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions on the season. Just a guy who, as you would expect, a fifth-year senior, a graduate student, just a person who a quarterback who values the football, but again, can make all the throws, and he's a guy who he can beat you with his legs. In the game against previously against Georgetown in the first round, he had a broken play, 43-yard scramble for a touchdown. So he can run away from guys. He doesn't do it often, but again, Shea Spencer, just a guy who makes all the right moves for Keiser and just always puts this offense in the position to be successful.
You talked about Andrew Burnett, and we definitely need to mention him. And I'd like to do that right now because the backfield is just, it's incredible. Jaden Meisinger, you talk about him. Oh, well, there's Jaden Miller too in the wings, just ready to step up and be a part of that program. He's made his presence known already this season, but Burnett's been the workhorse this year. And now 8 out of the last 9 games with at least 1 touchdown scored. They held him to under 100 yards last week, did that Georgetown defense. And I think that's a statement to what the Tigers really can do on defense too. Just 95 yards. So he was pretty close, but Burnett's had a fantastic season this year too. And what a big part of that offense.
Yeah, I said on the broadcast this past week that if you are a running back in the state of Florida, there is no better place to play than Keiser for Keiser. You look at just circling back, Marquise Burgess, who was really the first lead back in this offense. He graduated Keiser with the most rushing yards in the state of Florida's football history, any level, NAIA, FBS, FCS. Jaden Meisinger, again, over 4,000 yards. Andrew Burnett, over 2,000 yards. So it's a paradise if you're a running back. Jaden Meisinger's, been a little bit banged up this season, but Andrew Burnett really came on last season, and we all expected him to do big things this year. 30 touchdowns in his career, and I think just 25 games. I mean, he's just there's just a magnet between him and the end zone. And the guy's listed 6'2", 225, and I've stood next to him. He is every bit that. And you rarely see that size at any level playing running back. We joke about Derrick Henry, the size of a defensive end, and Andrew Burnett, is a load to bring down. He's, talk about, he's a north-south runner, but he can also make you miss. And again, kind of like Shea Spencer, he takes care of the ball. This guy never puts it on the turf, and really helps Keiser just control the game, time of possession, and long grinding drives that can wear down a defense.
I know we could talk about the season as a whole, and kind of laughed a little bit about the winning streak being up to 22 right now, and it's a fantastic mark. But I want to make good use of your time today too, and you have a game to call here, not in the too distant future, and it's going to be Keiser taking on Benedictine. First meeting between these two schools. Benedictine coming in at 11-2. Of course, the Seahawks 11-0 on the season right now. This is a pretty good semifinal matchup between these two programs. And tell us a little bit about what you see to preview the matchup on Saturday.
Yeah, when you get down to the semifinals, it's going to be great teams no matter what. And Benedictine, they are, they're led by a great quarterback in Jackson Dooley, and one of the most, you can say, the most explosive wide receiver, Jacob Gathright. Averaging 23 yards per catch this season, 56 catches. That's pretty wild. They're a team that lots of explosive plays on offense. They like to air it out. Dooley, 38 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. They've got, around Jacob Gathright, Jashawn Todd, an electric guy. They've got, a great tight end in Tanner Zimmerman. But, they're a team that you look at the way they move the ball. It is chunk plays. And so Keiser's really going to have to be, to be ready to go against a passing offense that's really going to challenge them. And then on the other side, I think the strength of the Benedictine defense is on paper just as impressive. They've got some great defensive linemen. I think they've got a trio of defensive linemen who have combined for something like 60 career sacks. They've got a great defensive backfield. So nothing's going to be easy for Keiser. Nothing ever is when you get to this level. But at the same time, there's a reason Keiser's won, 22 going on 23 straight games, going for back-to-back national championships, and looking to go to the national championship game for the third time in a row. And Keiser's a team, at this point, everybody knows their identity, and Keiser certainly knows theirs. They want to establish the run with Andrew Burnett. They've got a host of wide receivers and playmakers on the outside. You take a look at Rufino Van Gates, a sophomore who's really stepped up, and Rico Portia and Trey Averhart and DeAndre Golden, who's a big tight end. And they've got 3 first-team all-conference guys on the offensive line. So, it's really going to be strength on strength on strength on strength. There's really, it's tough to point out the weaknesses for any team in this game. And we know Benedictine averages 40 plus points a game. Both these teams are averaging about 40 points a game. So, I'm expecting to see some points on the board and a great battle. But of course, as always, feeling confident in my Keiser Seahawks, and, that they've won 22 in a row. So I'd be crazy not to.
Absolutely. Well, the way I hear it, Cyrus, is that it's supposed to be 75, 76 degrees right around there at kickoff time on Saturday. So let us know where they can watch you or listen to you, because this one should be a fun one.
Yeah, you can listen on the radio, ESPN 106.3, ESPN West Palm. Obviously, if you're in the West Palm area, South Florida area, you can listen on the radio, and then you can listen through the ESPN app. And then the game is also going to be streamed through the Keiser athletic website, which is kuseahawks.com. And then go to the football schedule, and they'll have the link right there. So like I said, it should be a good one. It'll be great weather, and I'm excited to see how things play out.
I really like that. By the way, I'll add that too. I like that the weather's supposed to be good because you at this point in the season, you want to see both teams do what they can do, and not let inclement weather be something to hamper either one of them. Cyrus Wittig, the voice of the Keiser Seahawks, we really appreciate you taking time with us today and talking about Keiser, the season, specifically the postseason here. And thanks a lot for what you do. I've listened to the call. I've heard you at more than one place. Again, more than one team, more than one place. You do a great job, and I appreciate you stopping by here today on Midwest Sports Net.
Joey, my pleasure. Always great to talk with you, and looking forward to 2 great games this weekend in the semifinal.